Hiya, welcome to Diecast QT. I'm QT, and on the footage here you're watching me drilling out the post using just a standard drill bit, probably about 4mm. And pop the base off, take all the bits out, and struggle to get the glass out. It eventually goes. There we go. Have a look around, looking for scratches and damage, dirt in this case, and pretty decent floor base there. So here I am sanding down the post with a small file. Get rid of any burrs. Then I use the sponge to keep the casting in place while I do the drilling, using 1.6mm carbide there. Takes a long time. Keep checking depth to see if it'll take my screw. And then we come to the tapping. I use a drop WD-40 to keep it running smoothly. And when it's tapping these posts, you have to go backwards and forwards to keep those pathways clear inside there. Otherwise it'll get stuck and snap. I use an M2 for the tap there. And then test the M2 screw. Hex top on it, and then test fit all together in. Fits lovely. Now before we can strip the paint, I need to turn my attention to this decal on the roof, which is looking a bit worn. So I'll do a bit of Googling and find out what it should look like, and then I'll go into Photoshop and duplicate it as best I can, and then turn that into a decal which has got the same dimensions as the roof, and then just do a test to see what it would look like on a mock-up in Photoshop. So that looks okay. So we'll see how that turned out later. So let's get the paint off. My stripper of choice is Dettol. First aid, medical and personal hygiene uses, and stripping paint. So I'll create a bar for that. I use neat Dettol. Some people use diluted, but I'm not down for that. So that goes in there for a bath. It's a bit chubby, so we need to top up the bath water somewhat. And then we'll leave that for probably 3 hours. It's not the fastest of paint strippers, but it does the job, as you can see. So once that's done, I get the toothbrush and scrub the paint off, which is pretty much really loose. It's only the stubborn bits here and there.
2 hours later.
So after a while, please read that note, it's very important. So I'm just taking away there with a dentist pick, getting rid of all the little stubborn paint bits. So turning my attention to the base there, I've got to take them wheels out, give them a clean, and the suspension, which doesn't want to come out, but gives eventually. So I'll take a bit of 400 bit sandpaper and just work on the axles without taking the wheels off. So I'm moving them around, cleaning the axles, trying to get all of that corrosion and discoloration off. Some of it's quite stubborn and it takes about 20 minutes to get over. So I'm working on both these wheels one after the other, just checking to see how I'm doing along the way with a really old and tired bit of 400 bit. So get some water on it to help smooth things out, and I'm working on suspension there, just getting again the corrosion off and discoloration to get it all shiny again. Not that it matters, no one's ever going to see it. And once we're finished with that, we can turn our attention to the casting itself, getting rid of any oxidation, and just cleaning it up, making it look nice and ready for some primer. So give that a once over with the Dremel there, with a brush. I've got 10 of those brushes, cheap from Hong Kong. You can see the little bits of wire flying off all over the place every now and then. Got through about 3 of those that day. And when that's done, I can have a go at the base. I decided not to paint that, so I'm going to get it as shiny as I can. Pay particular attention to the bumpers and the headlights, the bits we're going to look at. So once we've got that polished up, we can then move on to priming the casting itself. And I use Tamiya's grey surface primer for that. Give that a nice even coat all over. And then leave that to dry for a bit. And then I can turn attention to the wheels, and I use my Molotov chrome pen for that. Sometimes I'll use a brush to find the details, but for these, the pen was fine. It takes ages to dry, so I need to be careful not to touch them. I've ruined models before now, smudging. So there we go for the pledge bath and all the plastic parts. If you haven't got some Revive It, you will need some for this because it's awesome. So everything gets a bath in there, check off all the drips, put on some tissue to soak it up, and then leave that covered so it doesn't get dust on it. And then we can mix up some paint. I ballsed up the paint by adding some lemon yellow to some white, and it turned into butter, which is in that pot in the background, which I wish would just disappear. Oh, magic, there it goes. So what we can do is make some new paint and just get a drop of the butter just to take it off white, and I apply that all over. Tack coat followed by a few extra coats on top until I'm satisfied it's covered. The airbrush I use is a pretty cheap one, it's like 30 quid. I'm thinking about getting a more expensive branded one, but this one's fit for purpose for now, so I'll kind of keep using it until I turn into a snob. So once that's done, I can leave that to dry and move my attention to other things. So now we go for that decal that we prepared earlier. So I've got everything laid out here, my wet sponge, my micro set, and all the other bits and bobs I need. So get that decal nice and wet. And apply some micro set to the top of the casting there. And then slide it off with the paintbrush. Slides off nice and smoothly. Then I start evening it out and spend about 20 minutes just trying to get rid of any wrinkles and things to get it absolutely perfect. I'm surprised it went on so well actually. I've had some nightmares in the past with these. But this one's a nice big decal, you can see what's going on. And I printed it just the right size so that it matches up with the lines on the side of the casting as well. So I'm really happy with that. So I'll leave that for a while, smoothing out as we go, taking any excess water or micro set that's pooling anywhere. And once the micro set's dried, which takes probably about 5 minutes, you then need to get a moist bit of kitchen towel, which is what's sat at the back there. And you can apply that to the top to really set it.
2 hours later.
So I'll do that now, push that down nice and firmly, and then that should be perfect. Turned out lovely. So now we can put the whole thing back together again. So slide in that bit, and then carefully the window. Test that all works. Put it all together. Get a screw in there. Bingo.